Hello everyone! For today's video, I wanted to do something a little different because as you guys may have known already by watching the channel intro video, I am more than focusing on just orchids, but so far I've been working just on orchids to kind of get a feel for the filming, but I feel like now's a good time to kind of check out what else I've got going. So this is the cactus grow space. It's nothing special, it's just a guest room in my house. This is where they overwinter though. And so I've got some neat stuff in here. It's not the I'm not going to pretend that this is the prettiest area. It's definitely not the most well kept. I'll admit that. But I keep the area clean. Make sure there's no water on the counter here, on the windowsill, and there's plastic under there just to be sure. Make sure that it stays clean. Vacuum it up periodically. So it stays clean in that regard, but it's not the most tidy in regards to organization. So we're gonna start on this end. I'm gonna do a little bitty tour of the cactus area. So up in the front here, start here. It's overwintering, so they tend to drop their leaves a lot in the winter. I've noticed, at least for me. But this is just a standard red pelargonium. This is a double form or semi-double form. So they've got these central petals. This is one of my favorite kinds of flowers. So the leaves smell so nice. This one has a nice distinctive zoning on the leaves. Sorry, I'm trying to keep the camera in focus, but it keeps wanting to go out of focus. And then over here is just kind of a mixed bag of a few things that are sitting here. This is a emerging from dormancy Euphorbia medusae. It kind of forms just like this codex on these branches just kind of grow out of it. It's starting to emerge from dormancy finally. Here's the tag I made for it. This was a gift. And then over here we have, this is Crassula rupestris, rupestris, there we are. God, the camera keeps going out of focus so much. This is just a little bitty guy. It's nice form and nice color to him. This other half, it for some reason isn't doing as nicely, but it's still not bad. But this half is really plump and really grown. And then this is just I'm going to pot it up when spring rolls around because it's not really grown much yet. This is just a little climbing aloe. And then the pot that they're sitting in is the bougainvillea, which is just got off of a blooming cycle and dropped a bunch of its leaves, as it tends to want to do. But as you can see, it's merging with more growth, so that's good. So over here, well, actually, let me go down to my feet real quick. So there's a few down here as well. These are a few I pulled aside for some repotting later. This one's just that was a succulent that didn't make it. But this is a mammillaria here that I got to repot out of these crap pots. See, there it is, Mammillaria rhodantha. I got to make a tag for that one, and I get it a nice pot. It had one of those fake glued flowers on it, which was disturbing, and I hate those. And then it also had some flowers, and there's even a couple fruits. Those are a couple fruits right there. This is some no ID cactus that I got down in Old Town, Albuquerque at one point. It's bare root right now, but I need to pot it up. This is another mammillaria. This is Mammillaria marxiana. I collect mammillarias mainly. That's the genus I like to work with, but I have a bunch of others. And then this is, I think, Echinocereus or not Echinocereus. Let me get it to focus again. Stay focused again. Ferrocactus glaucescens. And get the camera to stay in focus. Every 2 seconds it wants to go out of focus. Sorry, I got a spine in my finger. I want to make sure I got it out. Because the mammillarias aren't known for dropping their spines that easily, but I must have pulled it. And up here we've got a few that aren't these are just kind of not doing as well. They're just kind of rescues that I have on this lower shelf. This is an Echinopsis. It's not too bad, but it's definitely not in the best shape, so I've been trying to recover it. This was the base of a peanut cactus that I grafted another piece onto, but that top died. It's not as yellow as it looks on camera. It's actually just fine. It's just this pale color on the camera for some reason. There's a what is this? I just shoved everything over. There's a jade plant right here. This was a nice healthy little jade plant. What is this? Stenocereus duontanii. That's what that one is. It's down there as well, and then that one passed away. Sadly, that was a gymnocalycium, and then there's my other peanut cactus over there. Up here we have a panda plant. This is a kalanchoe. Here's my healthy Echinopsis dominoes. Here's a Haworthia that I forget the ID for, but it's doing pretty well. Lots of pups. And then we've got a Euphorbia mammillaris, which all these different branches all over it growing. It's doing pretty well. So up on the top shelf here, and you have to forgive the lighting, it's not the best time of day to be filming. Well, actually, there's no time of day in this room. This is a Pherocactus lytospinus. This is the devil's tongue cactus. You can see how nasty some of these spines are. Like, look how big that one is right here. This one. It's a young plant, but the spines get bigger and bigger and more vibrantly colored as it grows. And then here's another one of my mammillarias. This is Mammillaria maturi. It just got done blooming not long ago, and this one kind of grows like this kind of like columnar shape. Mammillarias are distinct in their spinal arrangement and their growth habit. They form these little. The reason they're called mammillaria is because it's a resemblance of a mammillaria, which is a breast in a mammal. And they form these little nipple shapes with the spines on the end, and they bloom from around the bottom of those nipple shapes. So they're interesting in that regard. This one's a really cool one, though. Back here, this is a no ID cactus of some kind. I don't know what kind it is, but I've had it for years, and it's grown very nicely so far. It kind of forms this club shape. This is a Mammillaria elongata copper king variant. It forms these long, elongated plants with lots of offsets and forms these clusters. Very cool little one. It hasn't bloomed in a while, but it's a yellow flowered variety. This one right here that's just finishing up a flowering cycle, it's been flowering nonstop all winter, is Mammillaria spinaissima, also known as the red-headed Irishman cactus. Very nice little delicate wispy pink flowers. Normally they form these little, and you can kind of see the remnants, these rings around the cactus, but since I'm reaching the end of the flowering cycle on the end of winter, it's starting to wind up, and so the flowers are at the top. So sitting up here, this is a Stapelia scutula. It's a miniature Stapelia. It just bloomed not long ago. Not one of the stinky ones, sadly. I kind of like, for some reason, while I'm not a fan of the scent itself, I'm a fan of the habit. And so this one is doing pretty well. This is a Echinocactus texensis. This is the horse crippler. This was a gift as well. Both this and the Stapelia were also a gift. It's a Texas and southern New Mexico native. And it's a gorgeous plant, form these beautiful flowers, but they take forever to grow, and they lay very flat to the ground. They're a barrel type, but unlike other barrels, they stay very flat to the ground. This one right here is a Peruvian species whose name escapes me because I lost the tag for it, but you can see how unique it is, like the way the spines are arranged. They're like eyelashes. So I'm excited for this one to grow. It seems to do very well. This one right here is a Notocactus ubeliamanus. It's a purple-flowered species within a genus of mostly yellow-flowered cacti. So this one the spines kind of hug the cacti for the most part, and they're very barrel-shaped and smooth. That one's fun. This is just a little baby plantlet of, Echeveria agavoides. I have a big plant downstairs that's kind of like chugging along, kind of. These two right here, and I'll get to that one in the flowers in the back. This is Peniaceres maculatus. It kind of forms these columnar shapes, and then randomly will form these kind of like triangular bits, and then it will come back up into a point like this. And so it's kind of growing. It's doing something right here. So if I can get to focus on it. Maybe flowers? I don't know. But this one, I cut this one off to try and propagate it. And this thing kind of died back a little bit, but it's doing okay other than that. They're very easy to propagate. And then the one behind it, right here, this is Peniaceres, where's the tag? There it is. Peniaceres viperanus. And so this one's more, and it's not going to show up too well on that one, but if I look at this piece here, Very skinny, very easy to catch spines on, so I have to be careful with it. But they're very elongated, very thin, wispy cacti that grow a lot from the base. This one right here, this is Mammillaria mystax. It's in bloom right now, and it's got some new flowers on the way. There's some right here. This is one of my favorite Mammillaria species from the way the spines look and the way the flowers can look. In the wintertime, I've noticed the flowers tend to reflex the petals back like this, but in the summertime, the petals are very outward and straight, and so it's a very interesting appearance. This one right here is one of the nastier Mammillarias. This is Mammillaria grahamii. The spines on this one form these. Ooh, I just caught myself on one. These fish hooks. You can see how bad they are. If you catch one and you try and pull away, you'll pull the spine further into your skin and rip it off the plant. And so these are not fun. It just finished blooming. It has these adorable little pink flowers. You'll notice that a lot of Mammillarias have pink flowers, at least the ones that I have. This right here is an astrophytum species, whose name I do not have. I just know it's an astrophytum. They kind of form these interesting shapes with spine clusters and then these speckles all over them. So I'm excited to watch this one. This one right here is just starting to emerge from a rest period, so it's kind of dropping its older leaves. This is, they have it right there, Optunia subulata. It's called the Eve's needle cactus, and it's a very interesting one. It forms these columnar shapes, branches out a lot, gets very thick and chunky, but it's a fun one to grow. Okay, this one right here, this is Mammillaria celsiana. It's a very interesting one. Not the most visually, like, it's not my favorite visually, but it blooms these adorable little, like, reddish, pinkish flowers, dark pink. This one here is also one of my favorites. This one's, like, so perfect looking. This is Mammillaria elegans. It forms these cute little pink flowers. You can see how big it is compared to my finger. Pink flowers in random spots and rings around the center. Usually every couple months or so. And it's very perfect. It's a very compact, very round, very perfect shape. I love this one. Like a top-down view. Like, just look at that. That's gorgeous. Love that. And then we have, this is the last Mammillaria that I have right here. This is Mammillaria pringlei, a very coppery spine color, and a dark, dark pink reddish flowers. It's got a leaf stuck to it. Okay. This one is this is Cirrus Forbesii var monstros. This is a monstros cirrus. It's very dark in color, and it kind of forms these random clumps. Not very many spines, and the spines it does have tend to go away pretty quick, and they fall off. And then the last one I have up here to talk about is this. This is a Aeonium kiwi. They're a winter grower, so it's kind of like it's growing right now. They're doing pretty well. It's got a lot of air roots, a lot of them, but a lot of succulents tend to do that. And then the last one I have to look at is down here. This is my aloe vera. I haven't needed it in a while, so it's just been growing wild, but if I need it, I just break off a piece and rub the gel on my skin, and it helps heal burns and cuts. But that's about it for the cactus collection. I'm not going to... Oh, actually, no, I did forget one more. I'm sorry. It's this one back here. It's kind of hiding. It's just not in the best spot because of how little room I have on the shelf. This is Mammillaria negepensis. This is the silver dart Mammillaria. It's actually got two growth points. It's split off at some point somehow. So you see two growth points, and it has these adorable white flowers. They're very like white, creamy white. So it's a very nice one. But other than that, that for sure is all of them. And you can see that there's no light shielding whatsoever. They just kind of sit up here and they get direct sun. In the summer, they sit out in direct sun and they get the monsoons daily because we have monsoons in the summer. And they get daily waterings, daily soakings. They get a lot of water. But in the wintertime, it's like just a little bit every couple weeks or so. They stay very, very dry. And the Mammillarias, most of them, are usually blooming at this point. So some will bloom in the summer. Matudai over here blooms in the summer for me, and it blooms thick clusters or rings of dark pink flowers, whereas others like elegans here seems to only flower in the winter, and Spinaissima over there flowers all the time. So thank you everyone for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this.